This is a video where I have to admit to how much I spent on books this month, and it's going to be fine until we get to the last book. Stick around! Hi everyone, my name's Chloe, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. I am here today with my April haul. So, I didn't buy that many books. I may have spent a lot of money. We're going to get to that later on, but what I'm going to do is just talk you through everything that I bought, sort of where I bought it, brief synopsis, why I bought it. You know what our haul is. Let's go. So the first things that I bought are actually 3 books altogether, and that is Saga Volumes 2, 3 and 4. So I owned Saga Volume 1 and had reread it. I was planning on continuing with the series, and I saw these on eBay, so someone was selling Volumes 1 to 4. I actually ended up with a second copy of 1, but I'm not hauling that one because I plan on donating that somehow. So yeah, I now have 2, 3 and 4. This is a Romeo and Juliet type sci-fi story. It tells the story of 2 sort of warring planets and species, and a couple from each of those species who fall in love, have a kid and end up on the run because they're being hunted by people who think they shouldn't be together. I've read volumes 1 to 3 so far, so I have 4 left to read in here, although I am taking a little bit of a break because volume 3 was a nice break in the story. There are 9 volumes in total, so I will be getting the rest. I got a nice deal on these, so I ended up paying like the amount I would have paid for 1.5 new ones for 3 new ones. So I'm happy. They're the first books that I hauled. Saga volumes 2 to 4. The next set of books that I got were all purchased in person because we were allowed to go in bookstores again in the UK. So I went to Waterstones. I have already hauled these in a vlog, but I thought I'd still put them in here because not everyone watches vlogs. So you can still see a little bit of a summary of what I've got. And there's no order to these. I've just literally picked them up off of my shelves and I'm just going to talk you through them. So the first one is The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulet. This is the story of a Native American girl who witnesses a murder, and she then becomes an informant for the FBI, helping them solve some drug-related murders that are happening that somehow involve her community. So it's basically about whether or not she's going to help the FBI with what they're asking her to do, or whether she needs to protect her community, because I'm guessing that there aren't necessarily the best intentions, because historically the sort of indigenous tribes of various different places have not been very well protected. This sounds really intriguing. It's an Own Voices book. It's written by, I believe, Angeline Boulet is an enrolled member of the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians based in Michigan. I've read a couple of books with Indigenous characters in there, and it's just a perspective that you don't see that often, and obviously is different from my own perspective, so it's interesting to read. I'm very much looking forward to this one. It's also had some recent hype because it's featured in Reese Witherspoon's YA book club, so we'll see how it goes. Also, beautiful cover. It was one of the reasons why I bought it. Next up is Wind Witch by Susan Dennard. So I bought this one so that I can carry on with the Witchlands Along, which is being hosted by Jade from JD Ray Reads. I read Truth Witch, didn't love it, but then after the live show was encouraged to pick up this. It's actually on my May TBR, and I will link the video to my May TBR up there if you want to check it out, but I will be reading this one soon. This is set in a world where there are different types of magic, so you can be a truth witch, who is somebody who can tell whether or not someone is speaking the truth. A wind witch can control the weather. There's also blood witches who can track people. There's various different things, and basically in the first book, Safi is the main character. She's a truth witch, and she's being hunted by a blood witch for various different reasons. She can be quite politically important because she can tell when people are lying, and it's basically her on the run. I'm not going to say much more than that. One, because I'm still confused over what actually happened, because that live show confused me to no end. But also just because I think that's all you need to know. Wind Witch is following a character who was my favourite character in the first book. So although I didn't love Wind Witch, I am excited to carry on with this one. A lot of people have said that this is their favourite in the series, so hopefully I'll like it and hopefully I'll want to carry on with the rest of the series. If I don't, it might be that I leave it after this one, but we'll see how it goes. Next up is House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. So this one is about 3 sisters who go missing, and then when they come back, They don't remember where they went and all, but all they know is that they have a scar on the base of their neck, and then weird things start happening. All I know, all I really need to know. It sounds witchy, it sounds spooky. I am here for this cover. I love this trend of sort of like flowers on faces and covers. I don't know why. There's so many of them these days, but I think this one's really pretty. I haven't read anything by Crystal Sutherland before. None of her other books really intrigued me, to be honest, but this one does, so we'll see how it goes. This one isn't on my May TBR, but probably should have been, because I forgot that Kayla from Books and Lala does the Buzzwordathon, and the word for this month is house or home, so this is perfect. It's quite a short book, so hopefully I'll be able to add this onto my May TBR, and you'll see it in a wrap-up next month. Next is Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castell. This is, I don't actually know what this is about. This is good. It says, I'm just going to read the summary. Kellen is moments away from facing his first major duel and the start of 4 trials that will make him a spellcaster. There's just one problem: his magic is gone. As his 16th birthday approaches, Kellen falls back on his cunning until a daring stranger challenges him to take a different path. So it's magic, it's majors, that's about all I know. Well, the reason I picked this one up is that Jade from Jadey Ray Reads, again, Truth Witch and Wind Witch in this one, she's definitely inspiring my book choices and Waterstones, but she'd just done an interview with the author of this, and I think everybody that watched that interview fell a little bit in love with the author and wanted to pick up some of his writing. He's wrote this, he's also wrote the Greatcoats series, which I'm also interested in, but this is YA, Greatcoats is adult. I thought this might be a good way to start reading his work, because YA tends to be a little bit more accessible, so I'm very excited. It is a fairly long series, I believe there's 6 of them so far, and now there's a spin-off series as well, so I might have let myself in for quite a lot here, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know when I'll get around to reading this, but when I do, I'll let you know my thoughts. And then the last book that I bought in that Waterstones book haul was Me, My Dad and the End of the Rainbow by Benjamin Dean. This one is about a boy whose parents have split up. He doesn't quite know why, but he knows that the answer might lie at the end of the rainbow. From what I can tell, basically his dad is gay, and it is about him learning about that and learning about the LGBT community, or at least I'm guessing so, because that picture screams LGBT community with its drag queens at the bottom. I love it. It sounds really cute, really adorable. I love the middle grade and children's fiction is looking at topics like this, because I think that we should be talking to children about this. I remember when I was at school, this wasn't really something that was sort of talked about in fiction at all. It was very much like a family as a mum and a dad, and that's it. And I wish that there was more discussion of the different types of love that can be out there and the different families that can be out there. So I'm very excited to read this one, and we'll see how it is. The next book that I hold was a pre-order, but actually I've already read it because I had an ARC earlier on this year, and that is Kate in Waiting by Becky Albertalli. This is about Kate and Anderson, who are best friends, who have always had communal crushes. So basically, if there's a boy that one of them likes, the other one is going to as well. This is about when one of them actually has a chance with the boy, how does that affect their relationship? I really, really liked this book. It's actually one of my favourite books that I've read so far this year. If you watch my quarterly wrap-up, you'll see that it was in my top 5 for the year. Alongside being this cute love story and friendship story, it's also a love letter to musical theatre. I really love Becky Albertalli's writing. Whenever I want something that's going to be sort of just uplifting and make me feel good, I generally tend to reach for her books, or I put the Love Simon film on, because I really do adore it. This is no exception. In terms of like her books, it's probably up there alongside Simon's always going to be my favourite. I love Upside of Unrequited because I relate to one of the characters in that so much, but this is definitely up there with Upside. Leah on the Offbeat is just that little bit further down. I do still love it, but it's just not quite as good. This is definitely, it's not my all-time favourite of her works, but it's very, very highly rated. Also, a couple of days ago, I just got the pre-order campaign in the post, and I got a little signed booklet that has Anderson and Kate on there, and yeah, I probably will reread this at some point this year now I have my physical copy. I have 3 more left. 2 more that I can justify, and then the last one. So the next one is Docile by K.M. Sparrow. So this one I bought because I want to read it with the Burned Books Club, which is hosted by Maddie and Spoops. This is about consent, essentially. It's set in a world where all sort of debt is familial, so it's passed down from generations to generations, and if it gets to a point where it's too much, you can choose to sell yourself to be an indentured servant to pay off your debt. But you do have a choice in the type of servitude that you choose to go into, and also there is a pill that you can take that makes you forget your situation, so you don't really know that this is happening to you. The main character in this chooses to sell himself into the line of being a sex slave, but he chooses not to take the pill because it has previously sort of ruined his family. So what that means essentially is that he is a witness to everything that is happening to him, and it's all about the idea of consent, because he has chosen this. He's chosen to sell himself into this. He's chosen this particular line, but also he's only chosen it because it was basically his only choice. So it's a lot. So from what I can tell, it's a lot about those conversations, and it sounds like it's going to be quite hard hitting, but in the best way. It major trigger warnings. It does say on the back that it's got forthright depictions of rape, abuse and other consent violations, as well as attempted suicide and suicidal ideation. So really be careful if you are planning on reading this. But I am looking forward to this as much as I can say I'm looking forward to a book that sounds so heavy going. And then the next books, these ones just arrived yesterday. So we have Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. So I got this as part of the Life's Library Book Club, which is a subscription service which is run by John Green and Rosianna Halse Rojas. All of the money for it goes to a charity campaign that they are running, which is to help decrease infant mortality in Sierra Leone. So it's a really worthwhile book club to join. Every 6 weeks, I believe it is, you get a book, and you also get a couple of items with it. So with this one, we got like a tote bag, and then there were some stickers involved as well. All of the books on there will have been out for at least over a year. Sorry, the angle's just changed. I had to run downstairs and answer the door. What I was saying is all of the books should have been out for at least a year, so that if you aren't joining the physical version of the book club, you can still just join the discussion part of it, because it's easy enough to grab a copy for yourself or get it from the library. Song of Achilles is one of those that I have heard lots of things about. I can't really tell you a synopsis. All I know is it's a Greek myth retelling. Madeline Miller also wrote Circe, which I have as an ebook and I'm been very excited to read, but I do want to read this one first. One, because it is a little bit smaller, I believe, so it might be a bit easier to read, and also, although they don't follow on from each other, they are in the same sort of vein, and this was the one she wrote first, so I thought I should read this one first. And then we get on to the last book. So, if any of you have watched my recent videos, you will have seen me talk about the fact that I missed out on ordering the Dosab box from Illumicrate. Also, if any of you are eagle-eyed, you might have noticed that I actually have some items from the Dosab box behind me. So basically, I had missed out on ordering the Dosab box, but Illumicrate were selling the second and the third ones, and I had pre-ordered those with hopes that I would be able to get the first one in the past item sale. Wasn't able to get that because it was a nightmare sale situation for everyone involved. So what I did is I bought the paperback version, got a nice signed one from Forbidden Planet, and I convinced myself that I would be fine with having a paperback version of this and a hardback version of those two. Those ones, by the way, I'm not hauling today because they literally came this morning and it is now May, so you'll see those next month. But then basically in the last couple of weeks, everyone's books started arriving that they got from the past item sale. I got very jealous. I looked at my bank account and I realised that because everything's been closed, I've not spent that much money, which meant that I could afford to splash out a little bit. So I went on eBay and I tracked down a full Dosab box for a little, I'm not even going to tell you how much, just too much money. Let's just say this. I don't agree with people buying boxes to flip them afterwards, I will say that. I've decided going forward that my rule is that if I'm vaguely interested in a box, buy it then and there, and then I can sell it on at a reasonable price if I don't like it, because yeah, I'm not going to sell it on to make lots of excessive money on it because I just don't think it's fair. But that being said, I finally have the Dosab Illumicrate book and I'm so happy about it. It came yesterday and oh, it's so pretty with its blue sprayed edges, and then we have like just the gorgeousness of like the quote underneath and then the artwork. Oh, it's so good. I regret nothing. I mean, I do. My bank account regrets things, but I don't regret it. That's the way I see it. And yes, it is nice now, especially now that the other two came this morning, it is nice to have a full set of the hardback versions. And yeah, Illumicrate's just announced they're doing a box set for Raybearer. Haven't read Raybearer, but I've been interested in reading it, so guess who's probably going to buy the special edition just to make sure that this doesn't happen again. So basically what I've got to at the end of the month is that I've ended up spending about £300 on books this month, which is, yeah, not the best. I mean, and that's not even including, like, I didn't get my April subscription from Illumicrate in April. It's coming next week. So if that would have come, it would have been like closer to £350. Some people spend money going having their hair done. Some people go out. Some people buy books. Some people do all of the above, but I say spend your money in the way whatever makes you happy. Yeah, I spent way too much money on books this month. So these are the books that I hold this month. I can't actually hold them all on camera, but there we go. Do I regret things? No. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff down below. I'd love to talk to you guys in the comments. I will be back at some point with another video. I've lost it. I don't know where my brain is at the minute. I make videos, there we go. I put up videos every Wednesday and Saturday. This one should be a Saturday, so I'll see you on Wednesday. Thank you for watching. Bye.